Hey there, Ken Wilkins, StandaloneHarness.com. I'm going to talk about how our standalone harness interfaces with the Allison transmissions, 5-speed or 6-speed. So out of the main trunk, we'll have a section that's either 3/4 of an inch or 5/8, depending on the transmission. And its first stop is going to be at the input shaft sensor. What this is doing on LB7, LLY, and LBZ is it's measuring basically the same thing as engine RPM. It's counting the nubs on the outside of the torque converter. So this is running at flywheel speed. Next stop is the turbine sensor, and what that's measuring is the shaft speed coming out of the torque converter. So if you've got a correlation problem in your fault codes, and you're looking at your live data and you see that you're not running at 500 RPM on ISS, but you're 500 RPM on turbine, you've got these transposed. So it is important that they're placed correctly. The next stop is the vehicle speed sensor. So this is a 4-wheel drive with a transfer case. If it's a 2-wheel drive, there would be a VSS on the tail shaft housing here, and all GM Duramax factory harnesses are terminated with the connector right here so that it plugs directly into the 2-wheel drive version. So if you're looking at our standalone harness and you're wondering why it doesn't reach all the way back on your 4-wheel drive to the VSS sensor back there, it's because you've misplaced your extension harness. So all you have to do is, if you've got our harness, or I should say your harness that we refreshed, we don't cut them off, we don't change any connectors. It's going to be at factory length. If you're missing this piece, you'll have to cut the wires, extend them back so that they can plug into your VSS, or contact your GM dealer to purchase the factory extension harness that was specific to the transfer case. So the last connection that's on the transmission itself is going to be the valve body connector down there. It's a 20-pin connector, and it's a squeeze type connector on LB7, LLY, LBZ, LMM, LML, and the early L5Ps. The only ones that were different were top kick, and they had that connector had a rotating collar on it, and it was almost twice the size of the 20-pin connector there. If this were a 5-speed transmission, it would have the NBSU switch on the side of it, or neutral safety switch, and we would have a breakout in the harness that runs down to the NBSU for gear position information back to the TCM. There are no outputs for neutral safety. There are no outputs for backup lights on LBZ and LMM. It is available, I'll send you the schematics if you need, for LLY and LB7. With regards to transfer cases, again, that was a completely separate harness in the truck, had nothing to do with the factory ECM TCM harness. We didn't chop anything out of there, we didn't delete anything. If you don't have connectors for your transfer case, it's because you either didn't get them with your swap or somebody along the way has lost them. So this particular transfer case is an electronically shifted case, and if you actually want your electronically shifted case to work, you can contact dmaxswap.com, and they have a kit that includes the harness, the transfer case control module, and the push buttons. And that'll make that electronic transfer case work. If you have a manually shifted transfer case, there will be a sensor up on the front of the case that will give the 4-wheel drive low output signal that our TCM needs, and that is one of the inputs defined on the standalone harness. Again, that's completely separate from anything you would have sent us. If you don't have that connector, you'll need to track that pigtail down and create that circuit so that the TCM can see when it's in low range. Otherwise, it'll freak out and go into neutral because the VSS will not correlate with these other two sensors. Thanks for watching.